Good morning. Welcome to EduSet Network. Friend, as you know, today we have a discussion on public relation, and the specific topic is understanding public relation. You know, the public relation has come a long way in the last few years, you say few decades. Started from the 1900, we are today in 2013. So if we go through the 100 year of this public relation, they have three different distinct stages. One from 1900 to 1940 till World War II, and then World War II to then 1919 when the liberation and globalization came to the force, and then after that. So the last 2 decades has been very, you say, very a kind of vibrancy in the public relation officer, and now the public relation are being not used only by the organization, but individual and people of eminence, people of repute are also utilizing the skill of public relation officers. So I think this is the time to understand the public relation and have to understanding what is the scope of public relation and what is the domain of public relation. We'll try to understand, even especially when the given us technological advancement and the more use of technology is being used. So we'll try to all the aspects of public relation in today's lecture. And for discussion on this very topic, we have in studio Professor Rajbir Singh, a noted scholar, senior academician, our media professional. I would like to tell you he has started his career as a English professor in the university, and soon he thought that without having the practical experience of public relations, we can't go much beyond. So he has started again as a career public relations officer in Haryana government, and for putting in 20 years, he again shifted to the academics. But I'd like to tell you here that as a public relations officer, he proved his mental with hard work and rose to the ladder of the director of public relations officers, and he has been instrumental in giving shape to the public relations machinery and formulated public relations policy, and also strengthened the public relations policy. So his contribution is immense. And while formulating the policy, he observed there is a need of creating a pool of public relations professionals. So he, without giving much time, without second thought, he shifted to academics and joined as a professor in the Kurukshetra University, which is the largest institute imparting media education in the country. About 500 students enroll every year in 10 different courses. And I would also like to tell you that Professor Singh is a true academician. He has got a kind of keen interest in the reading. So he's a double graduate in the law and science and hold 2 master degree in mass communication and English. And he has done PhD in development communication and authored 1 book, The Mass Media and Public Policy. And he's also supervising 12 students, PhD students, a number of MPhil students. So he has a large experience and been invited from the different bodies for delivering a lecture on or having listening to his view on the different forum. And about 50 national, international seminar or workshops he has attended as different capacity, chairman, member, and all that. And he has been also the member of various committee of the university or educational institution. And one more thing I would like to tell you here, that Professor Singh is a member of the task force constituted by the government of India on the media education. So I think his knowledge and wide experience will certainly help us to understand this topic, and will give insight to what is the exactly public relations officer role, what is the this discipline offers to students, and how one should pursue. So on your behalf, I welcome, without taking much time, I request Professor Singh to start the lecture. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Amrinder. First of all, let me slightly correct my colleague Amrinder, that I started my career as a lecturer in English in a small degree college way back, almost 25 years back, and I thank him for generous words told about me. Friends, today I have been asked by Mr. Amrinder to deliver a talk or on understanding public relation. I had been a practitioner of public relation for more than 18 years, and then I taught public relation and advertising at Kurukshetra University as professor. What public relation is? Before we discuss what public relation is, we need to understand the basic model of communication, where we say source, then channel, and the receiver. The message from the source is encoded and it passes through the channel, and then by decoding the same, the receiver gets the message, and of course having the feedback, then it comes to the source again, and then encoding and decoding through the channel, and then message goes to the receiver. There are other model of communication also, but this is the basic model of communication. Now comes the question, what is mass communication? Mass communication is spreading of a message to an extended mass audience through rapid means of reproductions, distributions at a relatively inexpensive cost to the consumer. This is the beauty of the mass communication message. In each case, a message is transported from its original source to the widespread audience through an intermediary channel such as radio, television, newspaper, internet. These are mass media. It occurs when a complex organism with machine aid produces and transmits public message to a large, heterogeneous, scattered audience. These are the characteristics of the mass communication message or the mass communication audiences. The mass communication audience is large, heterogeneous, and it's scattered audience. Now, what are the major form of mass media? First is print. We talk about books, pamphlet, newspapers, magazine under the print head of the mass media, and it started late 15th century with this printing technology came into being. Then recording, gramophone, records, magnetic tapes, cassette, cartridge, CDs, DVDs. It was in 19th century. Then came the cinema about 1900. Then radio came on the scene. The radio was in 1910. The beginning was in 1910. Then television in 1950. And of course the internet in 1990. And today mobile phone. So these are the various forms of the mass media. Then as we said, what are the characteristics of the mass media audiences? It's large, heterogeneous, geographically dispersed, individually anonymous. The mass media audiences, they are individually anonymous. They are anonymous to each other. The mass media audiences, they don't know each other sometime. They might be knowing, but largely we say that they are individually anonymous. They are self-selected. They are not selected by someone. Rather, when mass media, say we talk about radio or a newspaper, every newspaper might be having a target audience, the target reader. But who reads any particular paper, say for example Indian Express or Times of India or Hindustan Times or any Hindi newspaper, Jagran, Bhaskar, Amar Ujala, the reader picks up its own what paper he would like to choose.
Kind of
I mean to say
selective
it's a self-selected kind of a audience we have. This is the characteristics of the mass media audience. There is a famous quote, the press may not be successful much of the time in telling people what to think, but it is stunningly successful in telling its readers what to think about. So the Bernard Cohn, what did Cohn mean? Think versus think about. Here we find the genesis of the theory, the agenda setting theory of the media. Media agenda determines the public agenda. What is covered and emphasized in news becomes what people say is important to them. Although traditionally, agenda setting is not done by the media purposely or deliberately. That is, media don't set out to influence readers. But what actually happens? Media sets the agenda today. The public relation emerges largely
Before we move further, we would like to ask question because
from the agenda setting theory of the media.
Yeah, because the press also has its gatekeeping process. So gatekeeping theory and agenda setting theory, how it differs, and do they select their own, or what is their criteria of gatekeeping?
Gatekeeping is something different. Agenda setting is a different concept. In agenda setting, it's media which sets the agenda,
Right.
which becomes about which the people starts thinking any issue. So that is how the media sets the agenda. And so far as the gatekeeping is concerned, in case of the gatekeepings, what should go and what should not go. What makes a news?
What should we carry out in the
What
news?
should be carried?
Should we carry out?
Though somehow the two overlap with each other.
Okay.
When you
Yes,
decide what should go, but what should be in terms of the content, that is kind of a gatekeeping.
Right.
So the public relation emerges largely from the agenda setting theory of the media. The media have unintended but powerful effects. Though it may not be intentional, it may not be a kind of a intention, but somehow media have powerful effect. Media determine what are the main issues of the day. The press sets the agenda for the public discussion. With time, the agenda setting functions of the media got colored by the business intent of interested third parties. And this is where the companies, organizations, the individuals started weighing for a pie in juicy media melon to further the business interest through getting news coverage. So here develops the business interest. That's how the corporate influence on media, which, it's a hot topic for discussion today. Now, what is public relation? The public relation is a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationship between the organizations and their publics. The basically public relation is building of confidence or building of the relationship between the organization and its public. And this public is quite important. What kind of publics you are talking about? The significant public, which is interested in the organization, that is called the publics of the organizations. Similar to, but essentially different from advertising. Sometimes people say that what's the difference between then advertising and public relation? Right. Advertising also influence people. PR also is there to influence people. Both persuade. Both use mass media. But still they differ. What are the main differences between the PR and advertising? PR is basically management function, whereas advertising is basically marketing function. PR uses all form of communication, be it personal, be it interpersonal, or be it non-personal, personal and non-personal communication. But in case of advertising, it is non-personal. Communication is non-personal.
Yeah.
But in case of PR, it's both personal as well as non-personal form of communication. PR is PR is not paid communication where advertising is. This is the basic difference between the PR and advertising.
Here, one more I would like to ask you, because now the
Yes.
lobbying is being used.
We will come to that also.
Okay.
In course of our lecture, we will come to that topic also. Socio-political changes that prompted growth of PR. What are the socio-political changes which gave a push to the growth of the PR today? The concept of the corporate social responsibility. Today, all corporate, they feel a kind of a social responsibility. And this concept of the corporate social responsibility has given push to the PR. Today, every company employ some PR professional to express their social responsibility, because it is through communication. The basic tool of PR is communication in one way or other way. It is the relationship building is through, the interesting part is that in PR, the relationship building is through this communication. The basic
Tool of the PR
tool of the PR is the communication. It may have different form. Then increasing consumerism is the second most important reason for the growth of the PR. A lot of products are today you see in market. Every company wants to sell its products. The PR is one of the major tool for building credibility of the company, of the product itself. Apart from advertising, today most of the companies, they are using PR as a major tool for their establishing their credibility. The complexity of the modern organization is another important factor which has added to the growth of the PR. Today, the organizations, the complex nature of the organizations, and to explain the organization itself to the people, you need a PR person. So here lies the reasons for the growth of the PR. Then the population growth and workplace specialization. As I said, every workplace today has its own characteristics, and to explain that, you need professional people. To explain about the specialization, you need specialists. And another important point, or the reason for the growth of the PR, you find today, as you see, it's election time. Many states are going for election.
Right.
And they are roping in specialists for running their campaign. So the emergence of specialists in political campaign and government activities, you call them spin doctors. So these spin doctors, this kind of growth has further added to the growth of the PR. As a strategic function, public relation includes anticipating, analyzing, interpreting public opinion, attitude, issues that might impact for good or ill the operations and plans of the organizations. Counseling management at all levels in the organizations with regard to the policy decisions, courses of actions and communications, taking into account their public ramifications and the organization's social and citizens' responsibilities. These are the various functions of the PR which we see today. Researching, conducting, evaluating on a continuing basis programs of actions and communication to achieve the informed public understanding necessary to the success of an organization's aim. Because as we see, the basic purpose of the basic function of the PR is to clarify about the organizations, about the activities of the organizations, so that the organizations may be able to influence the public opinion in terms of the benefit extended by the organizations or the benefit offered by the or the services offered by the organizations, so that a kind of a relationship, long-term relationship, it's a process. PR is a process, whereas advertising can be a one-time affair, but PR is a long-time process, is a long-time relationship building. The planning, implementing the organization's efforts to influence or change the public policy, setting objectives, planning, budgeting, recruiting, training staff, developing facilities, in short, managing the resources needed to perform all, as I explained above. These are the various functions of the public relation today. Why do we need PR? Isn't advertising enough? When we say that advertising is there to influence people, advertising is there to persuade people, then where there is the need of this PR, where is the need of this process? As I said that advertising is maybe a one-time affair, it may be a continuing kind of activity also. Sometime a long campaign we keep on advertising about a product or a service or an idea. But so far as PR is concerned, it's a continuing, sustaining process, while which we have interactivity. Advertising is a one-way message. What you say about yourself, PR is two-way communication between you and your target audience. It's more credible. PR is more credible in case of advertising, because in case of advertising, you pay for your masses. You purchase the space, you buy the time. But PR is what should I say, that PR is a more credible message. It's more credible, more responsive, and leading on to a lasting relationship. The PR is a relationship building between the publics and the organization. The credibility in case of the PR is more. Advertising generally provides controlled messages, because in case of advertising, you may release advertisement on daily basis, or you may release advertisement once a week or twice a week. Yani, the frequency of the message is controlled by the person who is paying for it. But in case of the public relation, it may not be controlled. It's a kind of a goodwill communication. The PR is a goodwill communication. You may be releasing a press release, a news item in the form of a news item. The newspaper or any media may carry it or may not carry it, or it may carry in some different form or with some additional input. But in case of advertising, normally you buy a space, you buy some time, and you design the message. But in case of public relation message, it's a third party, any newspaper, or the TV, or the radio, which decides about the content of the news, which is released by any PR organizations in the form of the press release. So advertising generally provides controlled messages which comes from the advertiser itself. However, public relations messages are delivered by an objective third source, which is considered as someone else's opinion and hence carry for greater credibility. Third party endorsement. As we discussed, it is the PR message is having third party endorsement. Advertising, as we said, is what you say about yourself, your product or your company, and PR is what others say about you. This is the difference. Advertising message is what you say about your product, right. But in case of PR, it is the others say about you. Right. The concept of third party endorsements belongs to the PR, and that's why we say that the PR message is more credible. Time duration, PR is continuous. As I told you that this is a process, and it's a continuous one. Advertising is as and when needed and gives you a sudden publicity burst. PR, on the other hand, steadily uses each and every opportunity to build your image, credibility, awareness, and loyalty. PR and advertising are complementary. They are not one and the same thing. They are complementary to each other. Sometimes you use advertising as a PR tool.
Just to strengthen the message what you want.
Yes. We believe the message should be given through PR first. Then it recalls its strength through advertising as and when required. This is the complementary role of the PR and advertising.
So, before we talk about public relations tools, we'd like to know, because the new term now being used in the public relations, that's negative PR. What is this? Because PR is all about the goodwill basis and the building good rapport with the.
I don't agree to this kind of conceptual framing because PR is about resolving conflict.
So this is
So where does the questions of this negative PR comes?
well, it's just a term for convenience people have coined.
Yes. Now we talk about public relation tools. What are various tools used by public relation people? Media relation, editorials, social media, newsletters, brochures and catalogs, business events, speaking engagements, sponsorship or partnerships, employee relations, community relations. These are the various tools used by the PR persons for building trust, goodwill, or ultimately the goodwill and the trust leading to the long-term relationship building between the publics and its organization. The media relations. The PR person establishes relations with the media, relations with the press, the relations with the different media. As I said, that PR communication is a goodwill communications. If the PR person is able to create the goodwill of the organizations among the media people, of course, the receptivity of the message from the side of the organizations would be on the higher side.
Increase manufacturing.
And obviously, the organization will get more space and more time if you have. And sometimes this is criticized also that PR person is a kind of agent. But as I said, this is a case of a trust building, and I should say the PR cannot be built on falsehood. Ultimately, you can strengthen your PR only on truth. And,
false premises backfire only.
Yes. Then advertorial is another way of saying what you want to say. Then social media, these days it has a increasing effect, and I will further elaborate about how to use social media and how it has changed the whole scenario of this communication today. The newsletter, it's a popular form, as we are also in our organization using a newsletter, a kind of a PR tool. Then brochures and catalogs. Catalogs about different, as in case of, if we talk about our organizations, we are using different flyers for different educational programs. Every organization is using catalogs and brochure for PR purpose, for as a PR tool. Then business events. Whenever you want to launch a new product, a kind of a business event is organized for launching of a new product. Then speaking engagements. Somebody is called for giving a lecture or a delivery. So such kind of event also give a projection of your organizations. So a kind of a PR tool. Then sponsorship and partnerships. This is a new trend in corporate sector. Then employee relations. If you have good relations with your employees, of course they will talk good about the organizations to the outside world, and this is how you can build up your PR. Then community relations, building relations with the community. After all, every organization exists for some
Community. We have to work in the community.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, digital age and PR. As I said, the new trends are emerging in PR. What are those new trends? Gradually, the medium of communication has been changing. Newspaper, radio, and television have ceded space to digital age mediums like computer, social media communications, and mobile integrations for a wider coverage at rapid pace. So this is the new scenario today. What are the changes which has been brought by the digital media in PR space? We'll talk about the changes brought about by the digital media in the PR space. The members of the public are less constrained by informations. Now the informations are available at different platforms, digital platforms. So the people who are involved in PR, they are less constrained by the informations. The information are easily available and it's available at different platform. New media makes it possible for members of the public and journalists to seek informations from many sources anywhere in the world. Today the PR person or any person in the area of the PR, he can get information from different sources.
And within click of the second.
With a click of a second. And he can get information anywhere, anytime. So this is the new kind of a scenario. Whereas earlier in case of the traditional media, that you have to, whatever you want to say through print media, say for example through a newspaper, there was a deadline. That unless and until you release your press by 6 or 7 or the maximum 8 in the evening,
it will not have place in
you
the
will not have a place. But today it is not the case. Through social media, any point of time you can reach out to a large number of audience or readers. Members of the public can interact with each other, and publics can interact with the organizations and other publics whenever they want. आप जब चाहें, जिस समय चाहें और जिस जगह चाहें, आप पब्लिक से इंटरेक्ट कर सकते हैं. This is the beauty of this media, new media. Through public relations, organizations can join the conversations within and among publics. And what is the other advantage? That you can join conversation within the organizations or the outside the organizations. This is the advantage. These conversations may or may not include journalists online, as in case of traditional media. Earlier you have to be in synergy with the press, the media people.
And now you also rely on the PR person getting the news.
Yes.
So that has completely changed.
The scenario has completely changed. Now you need not to be dependent. You need not to be in synergy with media people. You have other platform also. The basis of the PR strategies in digital era. What are the basis? The member of publics in digital space have always controlled the message to which they are exposed. The members of the publics in digital space have always controlled the message. They have control over their message. Two-way symmetrical communication is more effective than the asymmetrical communications in building organization public relations. Reputation, images, similar concepts are what members of different publics think and say to each other, not something controlled by organizations. These are they form the very basis of chalking a strategy for in digital era in PR space. And these cognitive representations are a byproduct of the organization's decisions and behavior, active communication with publics, and the quality of organization's relationships. Now, the social media impact. What is the impact of social media on PR? How it has impacted PR? What is the purpose of the social media? First, we need to understand what is the purpose of the social media. Establishing online identity, conducting research, qualitative and quantitative, launching event and creating awareness of an issue, using media relations practices in reaching both traditional and non-traditional media, engaging with customers in dialogue, creating new online partnerships, communications with external and internal audiences, crisis communication and crisis management, reputation management. So these are the different purposes for which we use social media. Establishing online identity, then conducting research. You can conduct research also, both in terms of the quantity as well as quality. Or you can launch an event through social media. Or you use media relations practices in reaching both traditional and non-traditional media. आप सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से ट्रेडिशनल मीडिया को भी रीच कर सकते हैं और नॉन ट्रेडिशनल मीडिया को भी आप रीच कर सकते हैं इसके माध्यम से. यू कैन एंगेज कस्टमर इन डायलॉग. चैटिंग है, देयर आर सो मेनी अदर प्लेटफॉर्म ऑल्सो, वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग है. So you can engage customers through new media. Then creating new online partnership. आप online partnership develop कर सकते हैं. And you can, as I told earlier also, that you can communicate with the external as well as internal publics. Because in PR we talk about internal publics as well as external publics. What is internal public for an organization, what is external public for organizations. So in case of social media, you can interact with both internal as well as external simultaneously. You can manage crisis communication, then reputation building. Then comes the opportunities for PR in social media. PR के लोगों के लिए सोशल मीडिया में क्या किस तरह की अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं? What kind of opportunities they have in social media? Earlier we discussed how social media has impacted PR. Now, obviously, if social media has impacted PR, then PR person must have some opportunities. So what are those opportunities? Knowledge sharing. Through social media, the PR person can share knowledge within and outside. There are so many blogs, microblogs. For example, you can tweet or WordSpace, WordPress, bloggers. Then live sharing. You can share videos, you can share photographs through YouTube, Flickrs, for example. Then social networking. You can socially network yourself.
Build up a wide network for the promotion or whatever.
Build up a wide network for building relationships or creating goodwill or creating trust for your organizations. You can connect, you can interact. So this is how you can build up social networking. Facebook, MySpace, there are so many. Then business networking. There are professional sites also where you can connect and interact. Say for example LinkedIn, you can connect yourself. You can make business networking also. Then community building. not only business networking or social networking, you can build community networking also. Collaborating, then collecting, for example, link, social networking communication. So this is how knowledge sharing, then life sharing, social networking, and business networking and community building. These are the advantages of the social media. So this is how the social media has revolutionized the concept of the PR, or it has given a further push to the growth of the PR in different way. Then how PR can be successful with social media? How he can take advantage of this tool, social media. Integrate social media practices as part of daily routine. I am giving some small tips that how a PR can be successful with social media. Integrate social media practices as part of the daily routine, like checking what is going on in the news or email, connecting with people online, establishing relations, as I told in earlier slide, creating a dialogue through an online channel. You can create dialogue. You can create dialogue with your customers. You can create dialogue with the interested group. Having a conversations with online stakeholders from the very beginning, incorporate into corporate culture. Being consistent with the content across all social media platforms as well as in traditional media outlets. Social media is not for the short term, it is for the long term process and investment. It is not the case that today you use it and tomorrow may not use it. You have to be on it. It is here to stay, and it is for a longer period, and it's a long-term investment, I would say. Educating the organizations and community about social media, you need to educate organization and community about social media, about the use of social media. This is how you can build on your PR. At the end, I would say shifting the public relations paradigm from a symbolic interpretative approach to a strategic behavioral approach is crucial in a global world. For organizations to be effective, to cultivate relationship in societies and across the globe, to reduce the conflict. As I said earlier also, that PR is about resolving conflict. If any misunderstanding is there, you need to clarify the things and you need to build the trust. And it is the trust which will create goodwill for the organizations, and this is the goodwill which in long run will establish or build the relationship between the organizations and its publics. And if the relationships, if the bond is built between the organization and its publics, then it would be long lasting, and this is how the PR is done. Thank you.
Okay. So, well, you explained the various aspects of the PR and how the new social media is changing the whole arena of the PR. So, I would like to ask one question, because when we suppose somebody go to do a research, then he is asked, think like a researcher. Somebody go to in the field of PR. So, what is thinking like a PR? PR person who joins to the service, he start thinking like a public relations person. But we will discuss this before that. We take up the question from the EMRC Srinagar. Okay. Srinagar question is, advertising through various media is a major tool for company to enhance its PR, and sometimes the advertisements of a particular product company does not reflect the factual position. Should not there be some institution, organization that can check the facts about the advertising by a particular company?
As I said in the very beginning, that PR cannot be built upon false promises. If you build up your PR on false promises, then it is bound to backfire. So one thing from the beginning must be clear about clear in the mind of a PR person, that PR can be built upon only on truth. It is about truth. It is only about truth. So you have to rely on factual, on the facts, and unless and until you don't rely on facts and you don't say truthful things, then it is ultimately it is bound to fail. You cannot build up PR. So PR is not about falsehood. PR is about truth.
Okay. You also talked about the PR personnel are being used in the political campaign, and the political parties or the political persons, political top leaders are using PR professional. As you are saying that the PR is only talking about the facts and the good things, not about the. So, what is the extent? To what extent we can use interpretation to our benefit?
This is a good question. As I said in the last, that now the shift is from interpretative PR to behavioral PR.
Okay. Sir, sorry to interrupt you. We have a question from Calicut.
Yes, yes.
Good morning. It takes question. EMRC Calicut. In order to effectively promote EMRC services among public, which are the tools in PR should be used more?
Which kind of tool they should more? It depends upon the audience you would like to reach. For different audience, you would need to use different tool. As I said, there are so many tools to reaching out to the public. It depends upon where your target group is located, what is the level of your target audience. So the choice of the tool depend upon the place, the time, and of course today, as I said, that the social media is not bound by these kind of consideration. So today the best tool to reaching out, especially for a EMRC, is I would suggest this is social media. If the one single tool, if you talk about the one single tool, I would say social media.
Okay. Okay, we have another text question from Srinagar. Don't you think spin doctors frame lies and exaggerate to enhance PR? How ethical is that? You had this.
My answer to the question is the same.
Okay.
That you can sustain, you cannot build long-term relationship on falsehood.
Yeah.
It is the truth which will ultimately prevail.
Okay. So main focus is truth. We should not get confused with the truth and our.
Yeah. Some people get confused with the PR is about building something around falsehood or propaganda. Propaganda is something different from PR.
So we can't create rapport on the cost of truth.
Yes.
That is the guiding principle of the
benchmark.
Yeah. So we were talking about that. To what extent we can use interpretation?
To some extent, the PR can be interpretative also. You need to explain sometimes facts. You need to clarify. As I said, that the PR person has to tell something about his organizations, about the product also. But now the SIF, I'm not saying that behavioral approach has substituted the interpretative approach. It has complemented. It has supplemented the interpretative approach. But now the shift is more toward behavioral approach. Okay. What do you think about the product? How do you perceive the product? You see lot many advertisement today, even hoardings, where you don't explain your product.
Okay,
even the product is maybe sometime even you don't find the mention of the product.
Okay.
So it is how the consumer is taking the product.
That is more important.
How he is reacting to the product.
As I again interrupt you, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. We have a text question from Srinagar. Sir, as you rightly said that media sets agenda that makes people to think. When we talk about gatekeeping, that probably has the same purpose. Can we say that these two are two sides of the same coin?
Yes, to some extent, you can say that these two concepts sometime overlap with each other. That you have a gatekeeping, but in case of gatekeeping, the purpose is what should be allowed and what should not be allowed, and what should go and what should not go. This is gatekeeping.
Yeah.
But agenda is more about a issue, and gatekeeping is more about the content. This is the basic difference.
And here also the subjectivity and objectivity of the
Yes,
editor
yes,
comes into the
yes,
place. So we
yes.
can this way we can distinguish both of the gatekeeping agenda setting. So, sir, our first question was okay. We have another text question from Madurai. Let us take it first. Yes, please show it. How do you assess the authenticity of the information provided in social media?
Well, this is a big question, and it puts a question mark. How to assess the truthfulness or authenticity of information in social media? The first of all, I would say it depends upon the credibility of the organization itself, or the credibility of the message itself. As I say, that truth will ultimately prevail, and you will come to know what is what. And I think the audience and the reader is wise enough to gauge the truthfulness of the facts. And if something is wrong, and today you find lot many platforms where you can register your protest about the same also. So this is how you can find out the veracity of the facts.
Or check it from the other sources so that he can
You
verify
can
it.
cross-check your facts
Yeah.
at so many places, and this is the beauty of this media.
Right.
That you can have so many platforms to find out the veracity of the fact.
Right. We have another question. Yeah, from the Madurai itself. How organization will be protected from attackers or hawkers?
This is a purely technical question, and I think
Software people.
that way, I would like to.
Sometimes later we will organize questions, lecture like this.
Yes.
So, sir, we were talking about how thinking like a peer personal.
Thinking like a
PR personal. Because when we join, everyone join in the organization.
Yes.
Somebody think in their own way, but as a PR public relation officer, what thinking, how they streamline the thinking, how should give the training to the thinking should be like this.
I fail to understand your questions. What?
Because spreading information, that is the major, managing a spread of information and how to, so my question this way is like putting like this way, think like a researcher. The same way, think like a PR person.
The thing like a PR person, the first thing is that you must know your organization first. What is your organizations? What are the objectives of your organizations? You must be well aware of your organizations, your surroundings.
Okay.
That's why it is said about a PR person that whatever good qualities you can think in a person,
Okay.
all good, all kind of virtues,
Okay. Well, he should
that should be there in a PR
inculcate all
person.
kind of virtue, not epitome of the virtue.
He should be a good communicator, he should be intelligent enough, he should be wise enough, he should have wide knowledge of not only of his subject, of other subjects also, and he should be empathetic, he should be soft spoken, all good qualities.
Okay,
I
all
would
virtue
say
of humankind
you think of all good virtues in a person,
Right.
that is expected in a PR person.
Okay. So we have another question from Madurai. Yeah. What PR tool is apt for media centers? Okay.
I think this was question posed by Calicut Center also. I think if you talk about one tool, I would say social media, because it's cost effective and it has large reach, and the kind of work they are involved in, these EMRCs, I would say the social media is the best tool. But as I said, the selection of the tool will depend upon the target audience you would like to reach out. If you want to reach out to a target audience which don't have much access to the social media, that obviously the social media will not be of much use. So it depends upon the reach and access of the media
that determine
that
which
determines
tool need to
the
be-
selection of the tool also, PR tool also.
because most of the question related to tools. So can we show the slide of the tools again so that
Why not?
we have another question, I think. Yeah. From the Madhurits. What is the role of feedback in PR?
Feedback plays a very important role.
Not just feedback, or it was Facebook.
It's a
Facebook.
Facebook
The role
in
of
PR.
Facebook in PR.
Facebook, I
Social
think.
media, we have explained.
Yes, I have explained this in social media.
Yeah.
That the use of social media is very important and very crucial for today's PR person. And all these Facebook, Twitter, and all kind of platforms. This is one of the platform. So all these platforms are used in social media.
Okay.
You were talking about public relation tool.
Tools, yes.
So, should I?
Yeah, please show the slide, please.
The publication tools, media relations. I explained about media relations, establishing relations with media,
Right.
then advertorial, then social media, then newsletters, brochures and catalogs, business events, speaking engagements, then sponsorship and partnerships, employees relations, community relations, and maybe many more.
Right. But it depends what exactly
It's not
we
an
want to-
exhaustive list.
Exhaustive list, yes. But it depends what exactly we want to communicate.
Basically, it depends upon the availability of tool to the person you are reaching out.
Okay.
If I don't have any access to the social media, then for me, the organization using social media may not be relevant. And if somebody is using English paper as a tool for reaching out to the audience, and if that particular paper or that particular language paper is not having any reach to
That
the
region.
target audience you wanted to reach out, I think it depends upon the reach and access of the tool to the target audience, which determines the selections of the tools by the PR person.
Another question which we got is that role of feedback in the PRs.
The feedback plays a very important role, because it is the feedback which sometime correct you in your approach, that what should be the policies of the organizations, what should be the programs of the organizations. Say for example, university as a organizations, and if any particular program is launched by the university, or any particular program is organized by a university, say for example any cultural program is organized by a university, and if some problem is there, and if that is received in the form of the feedback by the university authority through it's a PR department, and the PR, it is the responsibility of the PR department, because the basic difference between the advertising and PR is that the PR is the management function.
Okay.
I told you in the beginning
Fine.
that PR is the management function, whereas the advertising is the marketing function.
Marketing. Sir, we have only 1 minute time, so I'd like to ask.
So that way, the management, it is the responsibility of the PR person to give the feedback to the authority concerned, to amend its policies or to rectify or do the necessary steps.
Okay.
So that sometime build up the relationships, the bond between the organization and its public.
Okay, we take the last question, I think.
Yes.
From the Calicut, sir, is PR possible without advertising in modern media? If possible, up to what extent?
Yes, PR is, as I told you in the beginning, that PR is, advertising is one of the tools used by the PR person. So there are so many other tools also which is used by the
Okay.
PR person. Advertising is one of the, of course, this is an important tool these days.
Okay.
But as I said, that advertising is a marketing function. If you want to market your product, if you want to market your idea, or if you want to market your services, of course, the advertising plays a very important role.
Okay, sorry to
But-
cut you, sir. We
Yes.
don't have time. Just one last question. In 1 minute, I would like to ask you, what is the caution or need to while adopting such kind of tools, pursuing PR with this?
As I said, the selection of the tools will depend upon the reach and access of the tool,
Okay.
and the effectivity of the tools. This is the important cautions the one should keep in mind.
Okay.
And as I said earlier, that PR is building relationship on real issues, on facts.
Okay.
If you use other way, or the propaganda kind of a thing, or if you will try to build up PR on falsehood, then it is bound to backfire, and ultimately the organization will be loser. So it has to be built upon facts. It has to be built upon truth.
Okay.
This is what
What
I can
is
say about PR.
So, well, friends, with this suggestion, we want to conclude this lecture. I thank all of you for watching the lecture, and I also thank Professor Rajbir Singh for giving such an insightful lecture on this very topic, and finding time from his busy schedule for this lecture. Thank you very much.